It's week 2 and we need to make some progress. After we divide up the tasks, everyone gets to work. Colin and Irvin have ideas about how to make a pump.
How do you want to take that thing apart?
Knife.
A knife? I don't know if a knife's going to get through it.
It's not gonna work.
I think
Welding.
weld through it?
Yeah, with a blowtorch.
How about a Alright, how about a hacksaw?
I guess. How about like pliers or something?
Yeah.
Nah, this is like strong.
No,
man.
that's a good point. You might be able to just break it free.
No, I tried with pliers. No. Remember we tried with pliers to get it out?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let's go downstairs.
While I leave those two alone with sharp objects, I check on the other 3. Conlon was out this week. The Garretts are still thinking about ball construction and researching adhesives for the bladder.
That's the surface, and inside there's the foam, and then there's the lining. So they have foam and lining.
Jersey.
Raina is looking over jersey styles that Conlon and Colin found to help guide her design.
So percentage of butyl, is that important
Yeah, that's it.
to the rubber?
Percent butyl?
They're all pretty self-sufficient, so I decide to check back on the pump deconstruction.
Oh, you got it already. So what's it made out of? Some kind of solid plastic?
Yeah, plastic.
Yeah, it looks like it.
It's lubed up, man. Lubed up.
With like a Vaseline.
Yeah.
So did you find the check valve in there?
Right there.
Is there a ball? Oh no, it's just an opening, isn't it?
Yep. And this is the actual. You can see the ball right
There's
here.
a ball in that one.
Yeah.
How does the air get past the plunger and fill the chamber back up?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Well, what do you think? You guys found pipes that kind of match?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if these are perfect because I haven't looked through all of them, but
No, these are good. This will good.
it's just like the size, though. Like,
What are those two sizes?
I don't even know if they have sizes.
It should be printed on the side. This one might not be long enough. No.
Colin found some PVC pipe that might work for building our own pump,
Yeah, that big one should
but it looks a little bit overbuilt and inefficient for my taste. So I get them to do a little more work in finding a better combination. Plus, it's a good excuse to use calipers and do some math. I mean, just look at them thinking.
This is a 2 inches.
I don't know what Collins is.
1.5.
It is 1.5? And then what's the outside? Here, I want you to calculate the size of the gap. I'm not even gonna write anything down. See if you can calculate how big is the gap when this pipe goes in that one. How much gap on either side of the tube is there?
Isn't it height times width times pi?
What are we calculating here?
The difference?
Height times width times pi.
Is it height times length times pi?
Let's draw it first. Maybe that will help. So if we're looking, let's just look down the top of the pipe.
Well, obviously we want to know the difference right here and right here. 0.695 or 1.7. And then this one, I think, is probably the exact same. Or 0.16.
They work at this for a while, and I know what you're thinking. This seems like a pretty easy problem. What don't they get?
We add those two together.
There's a math problem here, but it's a simple one. It's almost too simple. It doesn't require calculus or trigonometry, not even geometry. It's just basic arithmetic. So why would students who have taken courses in all of the former be unable to solve this problem? Well, I can first tell you that they're not alone. There's a lot of research on math readiness at the college level. This paper from Columbia reports that 50% of students need at least one remedial math course, some of whom need 2 or 3 such courses. And another paper puts this number at 60% in the country and 80% in California. But honestly, this is a somewhat different problem from what I'm seeing here. I'm willing to bet that these particular students, who are high performing and high achieving, would pass that college math assessment. This just isn't the way math is taught in schools. You might say, well, why can't all 9th grade students just measure the gap between two PVC pipes? But the moment that becomes a test question, the formula that easily answers that question will be taught, and students will be right back to memorizing formulas. There's a value in spontaneous math that's hard to replicate or test for on a large scale.
All right, what's up?
Super glue for butyl, and then latex adhesive and rubber cement.
Rubber cement. Okay, so adhesives are over here.
The current plan to make the ball bladders is to cut a bunch of loon shapes from latex or butyl and glue them into a sphere, like a beach ball. We just need to find an adhesive that works, so the Garretts start experimenting. Meanwhile, Colin and Irvin start making progress. Raina's still upstairs brainstorming jersey designs.
Design.
Yeah, I'm just like throwing some ideas.
Yeah.
Just trying to see.
Anything you want to share yet? Or you're still thinking on it?
What do we got? Global soccer.
And then like
Displays,
you, yeah, you like write vectors like that. What are you thinking about this? I can't tell you like your thoughts on it.
I think it is great. I think basically spend more time.
Yeah.
But I think it's great.
Okay.
I would say right now it's exactly what I would expect, which is it's kind of generic because, like I said earlier, we're still like super early.
Yeah, I don't know what other people would want. That's the
Exactly.
thing.
Exactly. And that's, like I said, that's exactly what I would expect. So
I learned this trick from my alma mater. Your first attempt is never your best attempt. Expect more, and you'll get more. And it might sound harsh, me being so stingy with compliments, but in the end the product will be better, and the maker will feel a greater sense of pride and accomplishment.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hold this back if you just want to.
I think we found a better fit.
oh yeah?
This right here.
Ooh, that is close. There's one thing I'll point out. The closer the cut is to the vise, like if we were to slide the pipe down so that we're cutting here, the less flex you're going to get out here, because that can get hard when it bounces around like that.
It down just like this. It's a little bit shorter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, rub it in. Rub it in there, good.
Okay. Give me another piece. Oh no, not for butyl. For butyl, the rubber cement.
And any thoughts on seam type? Whether the
Butterfly versus I feel like the butterfly.
What's the plan on how to test those?
Hanging, I think.
You want to hang them?
We'd have to get like one weight to test them all, though. Or, like,
We
the
talk
same
about how to
exact
test
thing
all the
with
adhesive
plates,
samples.
And then just like hang the plates from the rubbers.
How are you going to attach the plates from the rubber? That's what I would do. Just clamp the weight to the.
But wouldn't the clamp weight then be part of the equation too?
Yeah.
They already don't work.
They're what?
These three all peel.
They already
Like,
separated?
yeah, they like peel.
I'm not gonna rip it out.
Guys, we don't even need a test rig. This is terrible.
This one works.
That was super glue.
Yes.
Why is that one separating?
It's the dust.
Oh.
Maybe it's stuck more to the dust than the material.
Turns out the results are pretty bad. I think surface prep had a lot to do with it, but they were ready to throw in the towel and try the casting approach.
One of you should look at how to make a roto mold. So this is the contraption that's going to spin our liquid latex until it sets up. How deep that groove needs to be. Let's try to draw this. Radius instead. 1.35 divided by 2. It already has a circular shape to it. We're just going to push this into the pipe. And as soon as we touch the pipe, we're going to set it the readout to 0, and then we're going to push it in 0.08 inches. Okay. And that's going to give us our 0.08 inch. Does that make sense? Yes. On and cut through, and then once the blade is down in the trough, let off the trigger, let it come to a stop, and then come back down. Okay. Drop it down in here. Well, just like that. So yeah, it falls down like. Okay. This hand wheel moves the whole carriage left and right, and then this hand wheel is what's going to feed your tool in. Almost there. Right there. Still too tight? Yeah. I'll set it up in there. Okay, that was it. Oh, it's tight.
You got this job.
No, man.
Caramel.
Oh yeah, you can get it.
Yeah, that was good. Alright, what's up?
I found plans for a rotocaster.
Okay. That we could build?
Yes. I have plywood and some over parts that are pretty cheap.
What are
So
they?
instead of cutting existing sheets of latex, the plan is to cast liquid latex into a spherical shape. We just have to build a rotocaster to spin the latex while it sets.
Alright, so this is the roto mold. Yep. Belt that goes to a pulley there. And then, what's that, a threaded rod or a shaft? A ground shaft? Man, it looks like a threaded rod. Yeah. You can find something that said their soccer balls are made out of PU synthetic leather.
No, but I can.
There's no actual specifics on the internet. We're wondering if soccer companies have monopolized and taken over everything.
That could be.
You can't find anything about making one. You can only find stuff like redoing.
I know, that's your job.
It's
Frustrating.
worrying.
Raina gets tasked with figuring out how much fabric we need, so it's Raina's turn to do math. We know how many pentagons and hexagons are on a soccer ball. We know we want to make 12 soccer balls, so how much fabric do we need in total? Then add a little more for waste.
Almost done. I just have to measure that for that.
Okay.
Then-
We need to know what's the area of this shape.
Ooh, I need a formula.
So that's one option. You could look up a formula for it. I mean, another option is to break it into shapes that you do know the area formula for. What simpler shapes? Do you see any simpler shapes you could break that down into? What if you divided it along this line?
Yeah.
Starts with a T.
Trapezoid.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So trapezoid. So do you know the area, the formula for the area of a trapezoid?
No.
Okay. All right. What other shapes? What can you break the trapezoid down into?
Triangles.
Yeah. Where?
There.
Well, you really, the way you're looking at it, you have how many triangles?
2, 3, 4, 6.
So we got 6 triangles. So do we know how to get the area of a triangle?
Well, I like should know this.
I'm trying to think if I can put it another way. Alright, so pretend like I can draw two triangles that are the exact same, and I stack them. I'm going to draw them this way. So if I drew a center line up that triangle and a center line up that one, and I took this piece, let's say I cut this with scissors, and I took this piece and I brought it right over here. That's the same thing as two triangles, right? Is that making sense? Or did I lose you? Seems like I might have lost you.
A little bit.
Basically, just going to do an example to try to make it obvious where the formula for a triangle comes from. So one way I could arrange these triangles, I'm just going to cut this one in half. So two triangles, and I'm going to choose to arrange them. What shape is that?
Square.
A square. What's the equation now for the square? For a square?
2 times 2.
Yeah, so if we call this the width and this the height, then width times height. So that's for a square. So what is it if I take away one of my triangles, this one? What's the area for this triangle?
Wouldn't it be half?
Yeah, half.
Okay.
Exactly. So the area of the triangle is width times height over 2. Or the formula you probably heard in school is 1/2 times base times height. Does that ring a bell?
Yes. Okay, this is really showing me I need to review basic math here.
That's all right. Sometimes you got to apply it before it starts making any sense.
If you're thinking that back in your day kids knew their geometry, give me a minute to rid you of that illusion. An educational psychologist named Max Wertheimer did some work in the 50s that he published in a book called Productive Thinking, and in it he discusses at length a very similar problem, but with students finding the area of parallelograms. He relates this amusing story of a teacher walking through a laborious procedure, the students following precisely and solving various similar problems on their own, while the teacher gleams with pride. Then, Wertheimer draws on the board a parallelogram taller than it is wide, and the students are dumbfounded. He goes on to blame all of the very same reasons that still exist today, and ultimately stresses the importance of understanding why the calculation looks the way it does, rather than how to perform the calculation. I was curious how our South African students would fare at this problem, so I sent them a message. Hi, Blessing and Nomti. This is Adam. So we're having a little bit of a challenge solving this problem for making these soccer balls, and I want to see if you two can help. The problem is that we need to know how much fabric do we need to make one soccer ball. Measurement from point to point is 89 millimeters. Okay, the pentagon measurement from tip to flat is 70 millimeters. So can you solve for the area of a hexagon and the area of a pentagon, and then multiply those by how many total there are, and then we'll know how many total square millimeters of fabric we need to purchase. All right, thanks, and good luck. Soon after, I got a message back from Nomti and then Blessing. Impressive. They both decided to take the trigonometry approach, and all their calculations were right, but there was a mistake in their initial assumptions about the geometry that caused their final answer to be wrong. I did my best to show where that mistaken assumption was coming from, and we eventually came to the right answer. So now that the hard part was over and we knew how much fabric we needed to order, all we had to do was buy it. Easy, right?